What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. I know I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back with the jump off, all right? So, one thing I want to talk about today is why I am such a strong proponent or advocate for sync licensing, all right? Let's just get into the real reason why I go so hard in this field. Back in 2013, I talk about this all the time. At that time, I got my first introduction to the sync licensing world. Now, going back to 2012, at that point I was releasing music. This is prior to Spotify, Apple Music, all of that stuff. Your music was going directly to iTunes and like Google Play and stores of that nature. So I was releasing songs and music, albums, and basically making a couple $100 a year off of music. I was not getting paid shows at that time. It was just not looking beautiful for your boy at all. But on the outside looking in, I had a lot of talent. I had a lot of presentation of what I was doing. So from an outsider's perspective, they might have been like, man, J Nolan got some things going on. Really didn't, you know what I mean? I was getting booked. I was able to perform at some festivals. I was doing features with local artists. I was meeting people in the industry, but nobody was really reaching down to like help me. When I was introduced to Joseph Parker and Soul Plus Mine, we worked on probably like 5 songs initially. And our first placement was for a song called Come Down that got played on UFC. Now, this UFC placement paid us about $1,000 up front for us to split, and then we started getting back-end royalties. Now, the back-end royalties from that UFC fight continued to pay us for well over 3 years, all right? So me and him split $500 a piece. Then when the royalties started coming in, it was like another $500 on my royalty sheet, and since we split that half, he probably made the same, if not more, because he also had a publisher share on that as well, which I was not really prone to publishing at that time. But those royalties started coming out quarterly. After about 8 months, you start getting quarterly royalties, and then you start seeing how the reruns pay you and how everything else goes, right? Fast forward, we get like 3 placements on this show called Step Up High Water. Step Up High Water is a show that came on YouTube Red when YouTube Red came out, which also turned into YouTube Originals, right? They had 2 seasons on YouTube. The first season that it came out, we had 3 song placements on there. They paid us a few $100 up front, but then we started getting a little bit of residuals. Now, Step Up High Water was bought out by the Stars Network. So now, if you go on the Stars app, you can actually watch the first 2 seasons of Step Up High Water. And we're getting royalties off of those new views off of the app or anybody that's watching them on demand on their TV network, okay? Some of y'all have seen the advertisement that I did with Xfinity where they played my song Unstoppable. Unstoppable is a very popular song in the sports sector. It's been placed on Right This Minute on CW. It's been placed on the NHL network, the MLB network. We got an NBA G League commercial playing it. It's doing a lot in the sports sector, right? But it was actually originally created for a company called Sky TV. Sky TV is like the European equivalent of Comcast Xfinity. They have a partnership going on. I don't know who owns what, but they in there somewhere. But Sky TV has their own publishing company called SATV. SATV represents a hell of a lot of music out in Europe, but I'm actually a writer for the company because my guy Chris DeCiccio out in the UK got your boy connected. You know what I'm saying? Me and him, we produced the record. So when we made the song, it was intended to go to Sky TV. We made it. They wanted somebody who could sound like Lil Wayne. Y'all know I could do like the high pitched voice of a Lil Wayne type. So I did it. You know what I'm saying? Me and him, we split like $3,000. Over $3,000, really like $3,500 or something like that, because I got like $1,800 in USD and he got the equivalent to that in pounds. So it got used for that particular commercial. Didn't know it was going to Comcast. A couple months later, boom, it was on Comcast. Then it started popping up in all of these different commercials. Now it's a part of a SATV official album that's being marketed in the sync market. You know what I'm saying? So now all these other companies out there and different music supervisors are picking it up and using it in all of these different placements that you see me posting now. But the song was created in January of 2021, which I created probably a week after I had COVID. Crazy. So if you kind of see where I'm going with this, you'll know that I'm talking about one singular song making over $1,000, making over $3,000, making thousands of dollars in royalties. Not every royalty pays over thousands of dollars though, but over time you can accumulate thousands of dollars in royalties as well. Whereas as an individual artist just releasing music, I was making hundreds of dollars. Not to mention my songwriting career and everything that I do on the other side of this. I've made over 30 racks doing that. You know what I mean? So just to put things in perspective. But now on the flip side, what I want to talk about is how, although I'm saying that these are great things, it is not easy. Okay. It's not a quick fix for you to go from failing artist to popping in the sync community, right? In the sync world, you have to understand how to write music for television and film. Some of the songs that you have already may work, but for a lot of cases, in hip hop especially, what we like to do is we like to name drop. We talk about big brands. We talk about the Gucci, the Louis Vuitton. We talk about athletes. We use them for punchlines. We talk about current events and use people's names as a bar. That's something that's not as acceptable in the sync community, because when you send that music off and you're talking about other people's names and their likenesses and their companies, they're going to want to know why their name is being used in a TV commercial or in a TV show in an unauthorized fashion, especially if you're using it, because a lot of times punchlines are kind of witty and jokes. So it's kind of like making a play on something funny. So nobody wants to be made fun of while you get the profit off of it, right? So a lot of times you got to cut all of that fat out of the music. So you need to know how to write generic songs. And when I say generic, I don't mean cookie cutter songs like Jingles 2000. I'm talking about generic in the form that you take a subject, you stretch it out, and you use your creativity to write the song without using brand names or people's names or celebrity likenesses, right? And it makes you a better songwriter in the end for it. Like I'm a huge, y'all know, y'all watch my freestyle videos. I use people's names and stuff like that all the time. But in my sync music, which I've been doing for a long time now, there's no traces of that. So you got to be able to walk that line. Not only that, but you also have to understand, like I said, some of y'all don't got no paperwork. Some of y'all ain't got no agreements with the people you're working with. You need to have direct access to everybody that you're working with. Because at the drop of a dime, a sync company could say, hey, love the song you have, but I need you, your producer, and any other additional writers that you have to sign off on this paperwork. Now, in some cases, you can sign off on behalf of your collaborators. But in some instances, you absolutely cannot. I'm going to divulge more information on a situation like that very soon, but I'm not going to speak on it until after it's all solidified. All right. But I got one on the tip of my tongue that I want to talk about, and it's going to be big. This is a big one. All you producers, you like to sample, man. So many sample producers hit me up like, hey, bro, let's work on something to get in sync. I'm not touching your beats at all. Okay. Now I love samples. I come from samples, but it is not a beneficial practice when it comes to the business of music. If you're Jay-Z, you know what I mean? Just Blaze, Kanye West, T.I., Lil Wayne, Drake. These are artists that have the leverage to sample because they are signed to companies, or they're big enough. They have the cultural cachet for them to say, hey man, we're going, yeah, it's a sample in there. We're going to use it anyway. We're going to reach out to the people. We're going to go to Harry Fox. We're going to go through all the necessary ramifications to make sure that this gets cleared. Yeah, they can do that because they can afford to. They got lawyers. They got people in place that can make that happen. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes even they have to give up 100% or 80% of the publishing just to make it go right. They make sacrifices. Look up Hard Knock Life. But on the same token, for an independent artist, if you're trying to actually monetize your career, or if you're an independent producer trying to monetize your career, playing with samples is a very counterintuitive practice. It's something that you're gonna have to make make do with and part ways with if when you go into the monetization side of your music. It doesn't mean that you can't sample, because if you just like to do it and it's a fun practice and you like playing the beats, you want to go to beat battles and play that type of stuff, or you want to work with artists that don't want to really make any money off their music, go that route. Or you're going to have to sign with a label that has the type of personnel that can clear those samples, which is why artists like Freddie Gibbs and Madlib and MF Doom and all of those types of people can have careers the way that they have, is because the companies that they work with are accustomed to what it takes. Not everybody has that, and a lot of people end up in very bad situations because of it. If you want to know why Lupe Fiasco has never made another album like Food and Liquor, he explicitly said he hardly made any money off of that album because all the money went to sample clearances. All right, just a quick nugget. Another thing, you gotta be able to deliver on tight deadlines. In the sync world, I've done 24-hour turnarounds, 48-hour, 72-hour turnarounds, which means if you don't really have the budget to be booking out studio time, or you don't have the connection with your homeboy that got a set up in his crib, you're gonna have to get a makeshift studio, man. I have nothing here but my MacBook. I have this $100 USB mic that I do for everything, all my podcast interviews, my YouTube videos, and all of the music that I record from home is done on this exact same mic. That's something that you're also gonna have to invest into. You're gonna have to get you a solid computer. You're gonna have to get you a solid DAW. It could be Logic, it could be Studio One. You can go get Pro Tools if you want. Man, if you need to learn Pro Tools, go to Wavy Wayne. He got the Pro Tools certification that you can go through, to where you can learn all the ins and outs on how to engineer your music. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to get proactive in how you want to do this thing. There's no way that you can depend on 10 outside people and have a lucrative career in the sync department, because you have to be able to create and produce music very quickly. And sometimes if you don't have access to it at your fingertips, you're gonna lose track of time, you're gonna miss deadlines, nobody's gonna reach back out to you. Which also comes down to your organizational skills, man. As artists, a lot of times we don't have organizational skills. A lot of times we freeball everything, you know what I'm saying? We have a loose schedule, but working on that loose schedule is going to get you tangled up. It's going to get you tangled up very quickly again, and you're going to miss those deadlines, and you're going to get yourself pushed out of the industry before you even get in. Now, some people do have some leeway, you know what I mean? And things happen. Everybody makes mistakes, so you can't put yourself above making mistakes, but you want to be able to minimize those mistakes to where you're not blowing the majority of your opportunities and you can't get back. If you got beats just sitting on a hard drive, you're not doing nothing with them, yo, you need to be getting into the sync game. Get some placements for those beats. If you got samples on the beats, take them out. Replay them as close as you can. Use virtual instruments, whatever you got to do. MIDI packs, I don't care. But get some stuff to replace those samples. If you got beats that's been sitting for 5-10 years, change the drums on them. Update the drums. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to do, man. And you just start reaching out. You can go on Google right now. Just type in sync companies. This is something that I literally have done. Sync companies, and just start sending out emails to everyone that comes up. Not everybody's going to hit you back, but if you get 1 out of 10, that 1 out of 10 will snowball eventually. You know what I'm saying? You might be working with one company for 6 months and maybe they only got 2 of your tracks, but then you reach out to somebody else, or somebody hits you back with an email 8 months later like, hey, sorry for the late response, are you still available? Yes, I am. You know what I'm saying? It's another thing we got to change in the game. Coming from hip hop, a lot of our mentality is, you wasn't messing with me before, don't hit me up later. Man, you better humble yourself quick. And I'm not a big person that speaks on human, but in most cases, if somebody comes back around and wants to offer you an opportunity, it might be something beneficial, because they're not going to hit you for no reason. All right. So we got to get past those high school, early 20 ways of thinking, man. That stuff is not beneficial for us in life later down the line. You got to be able to look past some things. Timing does not always work out the way we want it to. All right. But yeah, man, for those of y'all that tuned in, let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Let me know if you like what we're talking about here. And if you don't, let me know why, man. Let's have an actual dialogue going on. Make sure y'all share this video out there for people that need it, because if y'all didn't need it, I wouldn't be talking about it. And everybody would be on the other side with me, London Elixir, Clint Music, 85 Productions, and so on and so forth, getting these placements. All right, so come over to this side, please. You know what I'm saying? I want to see you guys do better. If you need more information on sync licensing or just the business of music, period, go to realjnolan.com. Get my book, The Pen Game Portfolio. You can also get the Pen Game Portfolio Volume 2, which is a lot more in depth than the original. You could book a direct consultation with me on realjnolan.com as well. It's $30 an hour. I'm very affordable, and I can walk you through everything that you need to know in that hour, so you can at least set up a solid foundation to move forward into getting placements in TV and having some sort of strategy for your music outside of just sync licensing, because that's not all that I do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know why you're not, but you need to go ahead and subscribe, because I'm gonna be giving y'all a lot more jewels, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next video. All right, much love and respect. Peace.